Let's be real for a second. Have you ever tried to really get your head around Bitcoin only to feel like you've been dropped into a giant, confusing maze with no map? Well, it turns out you're not alone. And today, we're going to look at a guide for that very maze. Yeah, does this feel familiar? You're trying to learn, but every article, every podcast, every turn you take just leads to more jargon, more complexity. It can be super overwhelming. We've all been there.
So, what's the core problem here? It's simple, really. Information overload. The world of Bitcoin doesn't have a lack of information. If anything, it has way too much. The real issue is that none of it's organized. I mean, think about it. Some of the most brilliant, mind-blowing insights are buried 90 minutes into a podcast, or hidden in a super technical book, or maybe just mentioned offhand in a long talk. The wisdom is out there, for sure, but it's just scattered to the winds.
What's been missing is that roadmap, right? A central index that connects all these incredible ideas to the sources that explain them best. But what if I told you that map is finally being drawn? That's what we're going to dive into. Okay, so how do you get through a maze? You need a guide. And in this case, the guide isn't just one person. It's a whole project dedicated to curating this entire universe of knowledge. Let me introduce you to What Bitcoin Taught Me, or WBTM for short. Their mission sounds simple, but it's incredibly powerful. They go out, find the absolute best Bitcoin wisdom from the world's top thinkers, and then they translate it into simple, digestible formats that pretty much anyone can understand. And this is the part that gets me really excited. They aren't just making more content, they're building a living, breathing conceptual index. Think of it like a map that's constantly being updated, showing you how all the different ideas connect, and, most importantly, where to find them. All right, that's a pretty huge goal, so you're probably wondering, how in the world do they actually pull that off? Let's take a peek under the hood at the engine they've built to make it all happen. So it boils down to this really smart 4-step process. First up is source mining. That means they do all the heavy lifting, consuming tons of content so you don't have to. Then idea extraction, where they pull out those golden nuggets of wisdom. All of that goes into a structured knowledge database. And finally, the magic happens in content redistribution, where they take that pure knowledge and share it in all sorts of formats, designed to meet you wherever you are. Of course, a system like this is only as good as its ingredients, right? That's why WBTM is absolutely obsessed with sourcing their material from the leading minds in the entire space. We're talking about the best of the best. And just look at this lineup. This table really shows you the incredible breadth of expertise they're pulling from. It's not just one angle. You've got the deep economic philosophy from guys like Saifedean Ammous, the hardcore technical mastery from Andreas Antonopoulos, and the crucial human rights perspective from Alex Gladstein. They are truly covering all the bases. So they've gathered all this incredible wisdom. The next big question is, how do they organize it and get it to you? Well, that's where their library of knowledge comes into play. And they cover the whole spectrum. Seriously, they start with the big foundational stuff, like why Bitcoin even exists in the first place. Then they move into the nitty-gritty tech stuff, like proof of work, explore the fascinating game theory that holds it all together, and even get into super practical things, like self-custody and planning for the long term. But just organizing information isn't enough. You've got to make it memorable, make it stick. And to do that, WBTM uses a few really unique methods. You could almost call them their superpowers. First up is repetition for mastery. You know how you learn best by hearing something a few different ways? They do that. Then there's AI-powered simplification, where they actually use AI to come up with great analogies to explain tough ideas. Multi-channel distribution is a big one. It just means the knowledge finds you on your favorite app. And maybe my favorite, community-centric origins. This whole thing was built by learners trying to solve their own problem, which makes it so much more relatable. And hey, when they say multi-channel, they are not kidding. Their goal is to make this knowledge pop up pretty much everywhere you spend your time online. For instance, their main home base is on Nostr, which is this cool, decentralized social network that just fits the whole Bitcoin vibe perfectly. But they're everywhere else, too. If you're a podcast person, you can catch their deep dives and discussions over on Spotify. If you're more of a visual learner, their YouTube channel is perfect for watching breakdowns of some of the trickier topics. And they're smart about how they package things. You can get quick, bite-sized insights and updates over on X. And then there's this, which is just so cool. They have a unique focus on Bitcoin-inspired art over on Instagram. It just proves that learning about this stuff doesn't have to be dry. It can actually be beautiful. So we've seen the problem, we've seen the solution, and we've seen how they do it. The only piece missing from this puzzle is you. This is basically an open invitation to come join the journey.
And this, I think, is the most important takeaway. WBTM wasn't designed in some boardroom. It started as a personal learning system, built by curious people for themselves. And then they decided to open it up so that everyone could benefit from it.
So really, it doesn't matter where you're at. If you are new to Bitcoin, if you're a skeptic, a trader, a long-term hodler, or even a maxi, this is the place to keep learning. So search for them on their different formats, criticize them, share their content, and help them grow. If you're still looking for that map to the knowledge maze, this seems like a pretty darn good place to start.